Hello guys and welcome back to this channel. I'm your host Edikanobut and this is Isaaca News. As you already know, this channel, our job here is to bring up to speed with amazing development happening in our dear country Nigeria. And on today's video, we want to bring you latest news as touching the newest citizens in our country Nigeria. So on the 27th of May 2023, 385 foreigners were conferred the Nigerian citizenship by the then Vice President of the Federation in the person of Professor Yemi Osinbajo. And he gave a speech which we're going to play a part of in the coming the sections of this video. But we want to look at the amount of, will I say, foreigners that have become Nigerian citizens under President Muhammadu Buhari. So under President Muhammadu Buhari, we have seen about 1,006 foreigners become nationalized as Nigerians in the 8 years under him. Now, this is very little, as in other countries, in European nations, as much as 5,000 people are being conferred citizenship, be it America or be it UK or even in the Middle Eastern region. As much as 5,000 on a yearly basis are being licensed or granted citizenships of these various nations as aforementioned. But in Nigeria, it has taken us about 8 years to bring in about 1,006 persons as citizens of this country, and this is because of the very difficult process of integration or nationalization in the country. So according to the latest law of the land, you have to have resided in Nigeria for about 15 years as a foreigner before you can be conferred citizenship. And that's too long. In many other more developed nations, you have a minimum of 5 years, to have lived in the country to become a citizen. While Nigeria will be around for about 15 years. That's very long, and the process is very too. In fact, that law has not been amended for the longest time. So we are seeing how the law can be amended in the nearest, years to come, so that more and more people can, become part of this nation. So in the Nigerian immigration, sector, a lot of foreigners have been knocking their doors to seek citizenship, but because of the tedious process and the expected residential years, it has been very, very, very difficult. So because of that, Nigeria went ahead to issue something called a brown card. So a brown card, is something that can then confer permanent residency on foreigners within the country. So prior to now, whatever card you have in Nigeria after coming to the country expires after every 5 years. So if you come to the country to reside, and you've not yet been conferred citizenship on, you have 5 years, then you go and renew, your license to, live in the country, and for another 5 years. But, with the new innovation on ground right now, you can, with brown card, something popularly known as green card, outside the shores of this country, with brown card in Nigeria, you can actually, stay in the country, permanently, even if you're not a citizen of the country. And then if you've lived within the country for about 15 years, you can then go ahead to, become part of the country legally. So with this new brown card in place, we can have more and more people stay in the country, and the country can be more attractive to people who are seeking to come and, base, live, retire in Africa and in Nigeria in general. So this is a testament of the fact that the country is not all, gloom and dreary and sad and chaotic and divided, because we have about 1,006 persons, that have stayed here for a minimum of 15 years and have pressured and pushed to become, citizens of these nations. People who were born and bred, outside the shores of the African continent for, the majority of them. So people are seeing potentials in this country. People are seeing opportunities. People are seeing safety. They are seeing their retirement plan. They are seeing a lot of opportunities within the continent, and they have decided to leave their nation of birth and to come and reside, dwell, and probably die in Nigeria. So this is the beautiful one. And at this point, I just want to play a few clips, by the Vice President, the then Vice President, in the person of Professor Yemi Osinbajo, on some of the things he said, charging the newest citizens on, how to behave as Nigerians, what to do, what not to do, and how to respect our traditions and festivals and customs and norms and some other things like that. So do well to enjoy the rest of the video.
This is indeed a very special event. And I must say that it's always a thing of joy and pride when foreigners settle in your country, feel at home, thrive, and feel so connected to the land that they choose to become one of you. And it's indeed an honor and one that we do not take lightly. So I welcome you all to the Nigerian family with great pride. Irrespective of your country of descent or origin or of your mother tongue, Nigeria is now your country. Our history and traditions are now yours. Nigeria is a nation brimming with cultural diversity. We have a rich and varied diversity indeed. Our history of immigration from all over Africa and beyond. The greatness of our nation can be partly attributed to this diversity. Numerous contributions have been made by immigrants to the Nigerian society throughout our history. A lot of our current traditions, our music, our food, and our art have been richly influenced by people and cultures beyond our borders. We are diverse, but we remain bound and united by a shared history, undergirded by constitutional guarantees of liberty and equality. We celebrate our diversities, believing from knowledge, history, and experience that we are strengthened by these very differences. What does it mean then to be a Nigerian? We are a hardworking and innovative people, a people of never-ending optimism and abundant capacity for hope, a warm and generous people, connected by a vast social network of family and friends, many friends, even closer than family. We love our festivals and our family celebrations. Who can beat the Nigerian wedding? Our music and films are everywhere in the world. Our doctors, engineers, scientists, sports and literary figures are excelling daily everywhere. We're a resilient and peace-loving people. So much has happened in the country that would have torn other nations apart. Yet we're thriving. But let us be clear, we cannot and do not ignore or downplay our challenges, and there are many. And we have said many times that in order to forge ahead and succeed as a nation, we must constantly reinvigorate our social contract and deepen the meaning of our Nigerian citizenship. Nation building is not a walk in the park. Neither is it a day's work. Yet, while we fully appreciate our challenges, we must not underestimate how far we have come in just 6 decades of nationhood. Nations centuries older than us are still grappling with identity politics, with nationalism, with social equality, with internal and external security concerns, and the assurance of decent lives and livelihoods for their citizens. Nigeria also plays, as you know, a strategic role in the Committee of Nations, especially within Africa. We have always shown ourselves to be our brother's keepers, leading peacekeeping forces in several troubled parts of our sub-region and the continent. Our young men and women in the armed forces have laid down their lives and their well-being in the defense of peace and security in the neighboring countries to us. We have, through ECOWAS and the AU, been at the forefront of regional economic integration and the promotion of the well-being of the African people. The Nigerian citizen is indeed an African citizen. Let me therefore charge you today, as the newest citizens of Nigeria, to go beyond your pledge of loyalty to the flag and our laws, as well as the ideals of the anthem and the national pledge, to do what you have pledged in your daily lives and in all situations. By earning an honest living, paying taxes and dues, volunteering for national and local causes, making positive and useful contributions to the advancement, progress, and well-being of the communities in which you reside. And then you can live up to the words of our anthem, to serve our fatherland with love, strength, and faith. I thank the Minister of the Interior and his team for seeing us through this process, through which you have presented to us today 385 new citizens. I also commend the Honorable Minister for the very far-reaching innovations that you have announced today, all of which have the full and enthusiastic approval of the President. Today's occasion marks another opportunity for the application of Chapter 3, Sections 26 and 27 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to all of you who have satisfied the requirements of those provisions. Consequently, I hereby confer upon you Nigerian citizenship in the categories of registration and naturalization, as the case may be. And I further direct that the Nigerian Immigration Service should expedite the process of issuance of Nigerian passports to our fellow Nigerian citizens. On behalf of your brothers and sisters, the people of Nigeria, I welcome you all as our newest citizens. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.